Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films. This is Jason. Today we're talking about the rookie pass rushers. And to talk to me about that, I have Randy. Randy, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Good. Hey, real quick before we get started, can you tell people where they can find you and your work and your tweets about the Ravens?
Yep, sure. You can find me on Twitter at ZZ Godspeed. The two Z's is because someone took Godspeed from me. So it's just it's a Twitter handle. Wishing everyone good luck on their journey in life. Football is family.
I love it. There you go, man. There you go. Hey, I got Huddle It Up Films because Huddle Up, everything is taken. So I always got to remind people to remember the
Right.
huddle It Up. But yeah, we're talking about the rookie edge rushers, and I know you have some good thoughts on that. We've talked about that before. We want to start off with the Ravens' first round pick, Odafe Oweh. What about him do you like? Just your general scouting report and how you read it.
Sure. 6'5", 257. It's a long player. He didn't play too much in high school, just 2 years of high school football. 20, I did the count. He played 20 games at Penn State with just about 400 pass rush snaps. So, he's a raw guy, but very explosive. And the point I wanted to make about Oweh from the jump is that his physical profile is usually a top 10 pick. So there are things that you like with him. Um, they played him differently in 2019, but he's a relentless sideline to sideline player. I don't think we'll see a lot of running backs and mobile quarterbacks beat him to the edge too much. Uh, Plays contain really well.
For sure. And I mean, his numbers that you touched on, his arms were 34 and a half inches, I think, which most tackles in this draft would have loved to have. He ran a 4.37. Now, everybody's time was kind of fast this year, but I
Yeah.
always, my thing was, Randy, I added a .05 to everybody. So even at 4.37, I put him at around a 4.42 kind of guy, which is just ridiculous. And then you touched on something else. The thing that I think I like most about him is his hustle and his pursuit. Like this is a
Yeah.
guy that, as he's figuring things out with the only 2 years of high school experience, or he started playing, what was it, 2 years of high school is all he had, wasn't it?
2 years.
He's going to get a lot better. What about his scouting report? What is anything that concerns you, or what do you think he's going to have to do to make an impact this year?
So really quick, I just wanted to throw a nugget in there. For example, Ronnie Stanley's arms is pretty much 36 inches long. So an average offensive lineman is 33. So he has a built-in physical advantage that if he puts it all together, he'll really be helpful for us. So to piggyback off that point, I would say his weakness is his get off. Uh, Maybe because he's so long, he doesn't have to work as much to get ahead, but he's usually the last guy off the ball when he's in his 3-point stance. Maybe getting him up and standing him up and playing him at a non-tech will allow him to see the snap. Like Terrell Suggs used to, just peek, look like he's peeking, and he jumps it. So maybe just like getting him, standing on his feet, moving full speed ahead, it'll allow him to, get off the ball a little quicker. And the last thing I would say is he has some pass rush moves. He has a plan, so to speak, but just sharpening up and refining just a move that gives tackles problems. So just getting off the ball and then knowing exactly what you want to do once you use your God-given abilities.
I agree. If he can just threaten the edge, there's nobody that's going to be able to keep up with him around the edge. And then what's going to happen is the tackle is going to have to overset, and he's going to be able to, if he can get a counter, an inside counter, a little swim move or something to get over the
Yeah.
top, he's going to be in them passing lanes consistently. But the one thing, I don't know if you caught it, but it was in one of Joe Ortiz's pressers. He was talking about how Adafe was asked to read and react. And I don't know if
Yes.
he did that because of his inexperience, but basically what that meant was he was reading the tight end and then kind of turning on his pass rush. So maybe in the Ravens system, we're just going to allow him to go. As a matter of fact, I remember that rookie video the Ravens put out. They were talking about the first three steps being real fast, practicing his first three steps. So I have no doubt, like you, that he's going to contribute in some way. I like this run defense. the inexperience, that's the only thing that really can keep him from being a major contributor this year. But I think he'll still have his share of tackles and get his playing time that he can handle.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. When you're allowed to just have one mindset, on a single play, that's going to allow you, especially if you're inexperienced as he is, that's going to allow you to just go full speed attack. You don't have to worry about a give or take. You're just going to obliterate the quarterback, so to speak, which is what I think Joe Ortiz and Eric DeCosta. I don't think we're going to see him dropping back like Bowser or anything. I think they want him in disguise fronts to just wreak havoc, pretty much.
And that's not a bad plan. If you can just let him start concentrating first and foremost on just his getting off the snap and causing havoc, I mean, he definitely has the athleticism to drop in coverage.
Definitely.
I mean, his 3-cone drills and his shuttle, Randy, were off the charts. So like,
Off the charts.
that's what makes me just super excited about this guy. He's running like a wide receiver or a cornerback. He's got the quickness of like a slot receiver, a slot cornerback, and then he's 6'4", 250 something. So he's plenty of long and strong enough to set the edge. But so you talked a little bit about how he's going to fit in Wink's scheme. You think we're just going to let him pin his ears back and get after the quarterback?
So I'm going to take it from what Wink said. Wink expects him to be an early down player, and if Eric DeCosta said something similar, I think that's what drove everything home. The production, everything else didn't matter when they realized that it's an intensity, it's an effort thing. Like, he must have shown up on film that he's going to tackle the running back if the running back gets the ball on first down. He's not a speed rusher. Maybe he can, transfer speed to power, but he's not going to, just disregard any contained lanes. He's going to play the option down the line. And like I said, he's going to go sideline to sideline. So I expect Tyus Bowser and McPhee to be day one. They're going to line up just their veteran players, but Tyus Bowser is going to come out for some downs. And then, when they had those NASCAR packages, that people like to talk about, he's going to be one of those guys that they expect to pin their ears back. So just finding a place for him on third down is going to be easy. And long as he can, shed the block, keep contained on the edge, I think Wink is going to find some downs for him, first and second down.
Yeah, me too. I think on third down, his spot's going to be easy because McPhee can move to the inside. And then
Right.
can you imagine when you saw how much havoc Patrick Queen caused last year by just standing up over the center somewhere in the A gap? Like, I could see Adafe doing that too. Can you imagine having Queen on one side of the center and Adafe on the other side? And one of those guys is going to break through. A guard's going to have to take one of them and cross over. So yeah, I could see. I could actually see Oweh dropping more in coverage as the year goes on. I think that's one of the reasons that we didn't have Ndakwe back was that his dropping ability was limited, and so was his run setting. So that's something that they expect from Oweh, I think, is the run setting. And I think as he gets more comfortable, maybe you give him more coverage responsibilities. But I'm with you, man. Just let him do his thing and give him a small chunk in the beginning. So, I mean, as far as your expectations, though, for him this year, what would you say? I mean, people love to hear sack totals, or is there anything concrete you're willing to say? Or
So, Jason, we talked about this 2 days ago, and because of the scheme, I guess this fits in how does he fit. We talked about the stunts. With a less creative defensive coordinator, I would be unsure about this, but I could see him getting 5 to 8 sacks because of the creativity. He'll be some layup sacks, some bunny sacks. All his sacks won't be pass rush moves where he completely sheds a tackle unblocked or an unblocked sack. It'll be looping around a D lineman. So I could see him getting, upward of 5 to 8 sacks. And like the guy, I don't know if it was Charles Davis on whoever, I think it was Charles Davis. He said this guy, no, I'm sorry, it was Louis Riddick that said, mark my word, he's going to get 10 sacks this year. And that just blew me away. So I had to go back and okay, he has physically, this guy, his arms are longer than Khalil Mack's and Von Miller's. He has longer arms. Like you said, the 3-cone drill matches up with those two guys. So it's like he has some ability, but with Wink allowing him to move inside and out, cross the guard's face where he has an obvious athletic advantage, I could see him getting some layup sacks to go with some effort sacks. He could push double. I expect him to be in the top tier of our sack leaders this year
So
as
what
a
do you,
rookie.
so what do you think as far as do you see him getting more early down work early on, or do you think he'll be used as a sub rusher? Like how would him and McPhee and Ferguson move into the mix at rush end?
So I think it's like you spoke about Queen. He's going to LJ Ford. They let LJ Ford have some go, but you notice the splash plays that Queen made is he just they couldn't take him off the field. Splash play after splash play. So you look at it as like, well, he's going to get a couple of those plays. So eventually he's going to take away snaps. Last year, who lost snaps? Was it Jihad Ward that lost snaps when Yannick came in?
It was him and Ferguson took turns at the end. Actually, it was Ferguson who was inactive. But first, if you remember, Job Ward was inactive, and he actually said some things on Twitter about it. And then towards
Yeah.
towards the end, they figured that hey, we can move Jihad Ward inside to rush. And I think Ferguson's lack of flexibility on the inside is what cost him being active those last. I think it was 4 games he was inactive at the end.
And that's the position versatility that Wink likes. He runs sideline to sideline. Wink says he trusts him on first and second down. As long as he puts his best foot forward in practice and training camp and translates it to the games. Like I said, unless he's just amazing, I still feel like they're gonna, when they go to that base defense, they're going to go with Pinnell and Bowser, Sam and Will. That's a solid, it's two solid edge players right there. So it's going to be a couple weeks. Like I said, unlike Patrick Queen, like he has a couple players ahead of him. Patrick Queen came into pretty much, an empty spot to fill, and he filled it pretty well. But this guy, he'll have a little more time to gel. And I remember Calais. I saw some clips where Calais was working with Justin Matabuke last year with his hand placement.
Right.
And that's the last thing I want to say. It's not like he doesn't have a plan, so to speak. As I said earlier, it's just that he's young. So once he learns how to hand fight more, learn how to play with leverage, and the scheme will allow some things to open up for him too. So I felt like he was underutilized at Penn State. They pretty had him in a box. It feels like they had him. In a 3-down stance, 3-point stance, and he's just a DN.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't drop back. He didn't drop in the flats a lot. So, just broadening his experience, I think is going to do wonders.
Yeah, they had Shaka Tony, and then of course last year or the year before it was Eutor Gross Matos. So he was sitting behind some pretty good players there too. So that's what makes me really optimistic. Like I was a little bit hesitant about the pick because of the other good players on the board. Like I really like Barmore and a couple other players that were available.
That was a Ravens pick.
But the upside of Odafe Oweh, I think EDC has showed us he's swinging for home runs from the first round on, whereas before it was like Ozzy said, if you hit a double every time, you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Seems like DaCosta's going for the big swings with your Hollywood.
Swing or miss.
Yeah, Hollywood, Queen, Odafe Oweh. I mean, those are all high upside guys.
And the one thing about all these guys is like high character. Like you hear him talk, it's like you hear a guy talking like, okay, he's going to work. They all say the right things. So it's just a matter of time with him. I think it was a good move. And if Matabuke wasn't what he was, I probably would have liked Barmore too.
Yeah,
I was a Phillips guy. I was a Jalen Phillips guy.
Yeah, we had no shot at him. The Dolphins yanked him up, I think. I hate to cut you short, but we got a 15-minute limit here, and we're going to bring you right back. We're going to talk about Dalen Hayes on the next time. So I really appreciate you, Randy. Thank you for coming on.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Look forward to talking again.
All right, thank you.